Assalamu alaikum, everybody. This is Jawad. I'm your host of the Link Up stream here with my good friend Alhassan. How's it going, bro?
Alhamdulillah, everything is good with me. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good, bro. Alhamdulillah. Last time we had our pilot episode, just trying to figure out how we want to get this going. Today is technically the official episode. So I'm feeling good about this, man.
Yeah, I'm excited for us to actually get started. I think we're gonna have a lot to offer, and this is definitely gonna be, inshallah, something beneficial down the line.
Yeah, inshallah. I think we spoke a lot about why we're doing this, in our last stream. Like we always wanted, something that's positive, for our ummah. There's a lot of negativity out there, a lot of nonsense,
Yeah,
that's out on
yeah,
the internet, and really
absolutely.
making it a space of positivity and where, we're talking in the right mindset, saying the right stuff, and inshallah, it helps other people get inspired and maybe helps them out in whatever they're going through in their life.
Yeah, I was thinking before we started that obviously this is for everyone and everyone's welcome to listen, but I it's crazy to think that it's been almost 10 years since I came back from Africa and started teaching in the masjid. And a lot of my students that I taught who were like maybe like middle school, maybe early high school, it 2025, they're now all adults. They're in college, some have finished college, and they are, the young Muslims who grew up in the United States, who grew up in the West, trying to balance that identity of being a Muslim and being an American or being a participant of Western culture. So, it's always refreshing for people to get some kind of voice, to hear somebody else say, I struggle with this or I acknowledge this, and that's something that you're going through. So that's immediately what's coming to my mind as we begin this journey of seeing what I guess it's like, how can I reach my students, even though I'm no longer like directly teaching them, but how
Yeah.
can I make this content relatable for them? I don't know if I'm making sense, but
No, that's like a really cool way of doing it. You know what you reminded me of? It's got to be like a
yeah,
very bad comparison. But do you know how Justin Bieber got his career started?
I'm not exactly sure actually.
So I mean, Justin Bieber, he basically used to record his songs for his family and put them up on YouTube. And then
Oh,
that's how some I forgot the guy's name. I think it was Usher, who found out about Justin and then signed him and so on. So you're doing something similar,
interesting.
but for your students. So
Right. So eventually maybe we'll get a Sheikh Usher to so to discover
so
the podcast and take it to new heights, mashallah.
inshallah. But yeah, man, listen, for the first episode, I guess what comes to my mind is maybe we can just do like a quick intro, as far as like who we are as people, just our background, what we're currently doing in life. I think that'd be a good way of getting it going.
Yeah, I
Why don't
think
you get
that's
us
a great
started?
idea.
Yeah, why don't you get us going?
Sure. Man, I've visited so many masajids and said this story. At this point, it's starting to feel like a story I read online and not my actual life because of how many times I've said this. But Alhamdulillah, so I was born in Ghana, West Africa, and I was born in the capital in Accra. When I was 2 years old, my parents moved to the United States. They moved to the Bronx, and that's where I grew up. So I grew up in the Bronx, went to school, had all my friends, like the typical Bronx kid. And, when I was in middle school, you could say I started to follow bad company, and my dad recognized that and was like, yeah, I'm not having that. So after several phone calls home from school and getting in trouble, and when it got to the point where neighbors and nearby family members are telling my dad that, hey, I think I'm like seeing him outside doing things he's not supposed to do, then my dad knew it was time for him to take action. So Alhamdulillah, in 2010, my
What did you used to do before you move on? What did you used to do that you can share that was like a bad thing?
Well, one of the stories that especially younger audiences love to hear is when I used to foolishly, with my friends at night, especially during the summer. At night, we would be in Crotona Park. It's a huge park in the Bronx. And we would throw, it started off with water balloons. We would throw water balloons at taxis,
Are you gonna say
cars.
eggs eventually?
Yeah, and then we started to upgrade it to eggs. Eggs wasn't fun enough. Then we actually started throwing rocks. And as you know, anytime there's shenanigans, anytime hooligans are doing what they do, eventually somebody takes it too far. So someone picked up a huge rock. We were throwing basically pebbles, but
Yeah, yeah.
somebody picked up a huge rock and threw it at a taxi and actually bust their window. Like just it went straight through the window.
Oh man.
It hit the back seat, and honestly, I think if somebody was sitting in that back seat, they could have gotten seriously injured. Luckily, no one was in the back seat, but you did just mess up somebody's car. And the taxi driver gets out of his car, and it's an African uncle. He starts running towards us. I look at him and I recognize him. I'm like, oh no, I think I know this guy from the masjid. So I start running, and my friends didn't realize it till like a few seconds late that this guy's actually chasing us. Because so far, people would just get out of the car, stand by the car, curse us out, and go. But
Yeah, yeah.
this African uncle, no, he needed something, some kind of compensation. So he actually started to chase us. It was many of us. We were much younger than him, so he couldn't catch us. But just when we thought things had calmed down, the police showed up. So I guess he called the police, and then now the police were actually chasing us. And, again, it was many of us. I think it was like only two officers. They chased after us. And then eventually I was able to find a way to take the long way home to not be seen. But I think one of the neighborhood aunties must have seen what happened, and she, like, I think she was looking out for me, so she didn't tell my mom exactly what happened, but she did tell my mom that, like, I got in trouble at night at the
Mm,
park. So whatever it is that I told her I was doing at the park, it's a lie. I was in the park getting in trouble.
that's a
And
good auntie, bro.
yeah, shout out to that auntie. I think if she had told the full story of what she's seen, yeah, I probably wouldn't be alive, because as you know, immigrant parents do not tolerate that kind of behavior at all. But
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Dude, I have a
yeah.
I have a egging story as well, and I have a
Oh
police
yeah.
story as well. But
Um,
finish your story, okay? So,
all right,
anyways,
but
you're getting into some trouble. Your dad basically 2010, right? You said
yeah, so
you
that's
got, yeah,
2010.
yeah, yeah.
So that's 2010, and I'm shipped back to Ghana, and there I am staying with an ustad. His name is Ahmed Sharafuddin. Very, very knowledgeable ustad. He's actually one of the top um scholars of Quran in Ghana. So anytime there's like a Quran competition, or anytime there's a question Quran related, he's like one of the top experts that people seek his opinion from. And
Mm.
he just so happened to know my dad from when they were younger. So my dad had that connection with him. And yeah, I was the first student he received. So it began as just like, oh, I'm just gonna accept my my friend's son to stay with me. Then, I there was another dad in America who sent his son over, and then it just started a trend. So before he knew it, it just turned into a boarding house. He had a unfinished, the other part of his house was unfinished. So when he started receiving more students, he just hurried up, and we actually helped build the rest of the house. So imagine a bunch of 13, 14-year olds carrying cement and painting walls, and doing all these things. But alhamdulillah, it was a
So
very
you
interesting
basically built
experience.
your own madrasa.
Basically, yeah, we really did. I actually have another story. We actually built the well for the madrasa as well. We used to have to walk very far to get water, and to carry water on your head is not easy. So
Mm.
eventually we built our own well, And because I was taller than the rest of the students, I was given the responsibility of jumping inside the well and digging the sand out. So I dug and dug until water started to gush because the ustad had already, when he bought the
Oh,
land,
wow.
yeah, when he bought the land, he was told that there's actually fresh water that runs on in your backyard. You just have to dig a well for it. So I dug and dug until water started to fill up the well. I was happy that I was successful until I realized, wait, one, I don't know how to swim, and two, this water is rising very fast. So the water actually overcame me very quickly. And as I was just throwing my arms around, a huge chunk of rope just hit me in my head. And if it wasn't because the water softened the impact, I actually would have gotten knocked out by the rope. So whoever threw that rope, that probably wasn't the smartest idea to get that to me. But Alhamdulillah, I felt the rope above my head. I grabbed onto it. And once they felt my tug, then they pulled me out. And yeah, we just walked it off, laughed, and played soccer like nothing happened, as if I didn't just die. But I think that's a great summary of how many of
Wait,
my
so you were
experience.
all the way in the bottom of the well
Yes,
digging?
yes, I would say the well was probably I was probably like about almost twice and a half my height. So maybe like more than 18, 20 feet down
Wait,
into
how are
this
you supposed to
well.
get back up?
That's the thing. We didn't think that through. I just jumped in and started digging. I think the people who do it
Where was the dirt
professionally,
going?
sorry,
Where was the dirt going?
it was going off to the side and they had shuffles outside. When it started to get really deep, they were throwing in a bucket for me to throw the dirt into.
Ah,
So when the
I
water
gotcha,
started
gotcha.
to flow, it took the bucket away. So I had nothing to connecting to the surface.
Oh man.
Yeah, it was very like we just decided to just get up and do it. It
Sure,
wasn't
sure.
it wasn't
Did
really
the Ustad
planned.
know?
He knew that we were planning to work on the well. I don't think he was home when it happened.
Oh, because this is like literally a bunch of 13-year-olds that made a well, that dug a well.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a bunch of teenagers. Some of the students came from the village, the remote areas of Ghana. So they
Yeah,
had a
yeah.
lot of experience in like rural type activities, hunting. They taught me a lot. They taught me how to catch chickens. They taught me how to slaughter a goat, how to slaughter a cow, how to cut the meat, on Eid, how to divide the meat and stuff like that. So it was the rural kids taught the American kids how to survive, and then we taught the rural kids how to speak with American slang. It was a
Wait, were you
profitable
guys speaking to
exchange.
them in English?
Yeah, that was the main language that everyone spoke. And
In
most of
Ghana?
us, yeah, because in Ghana there's a lot of different tribes, so it's a bunch of languages being spoken. So like I speak Hausa, but not every kid over there was Hausa. I think it was probably like 6 or 7 Hausa kids out of 20, 25 kids. So other kids spoke French, some other kids spoke
So
um
English is the common language?
yeah, so English was a common language that all of us spoke.
Wow. Okay, okay, that's interesting. And
And
that's
that's
like across Ghana? Like English is like the common language? Like that's
yeah, I
like the
was
common denominator?
yeah, I would say so. So like streets, airports, most businesses, it's written in English.
I see, I see, I see.
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, bro, I
There's
gotta go
too
visit
many
Ghana, man.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's a fascinating time. There's too many languages for there to be like this is the African or the Ghanaian language for
Sure,
that
sure.
country. Technically, you could say Ashanti tree. A lot of people consider that the national language, but that's just because there's a huge population of Asante tribe people in Ghana. And in terms of like how Ghana was started, they're like deeply embedded in the history and the independence that Ghana received. So it's like to say if like the Native Americans established this country, then
Sure,
you
sure.
would say the Native Americans have like that's the language of America, but it's not really because everybody speaks
Is
English.
there tribalism in there?
Oh, yes, very, very heavy
Like Quraysh
tribalism.
2.0?
Yes, yes. It's actually so silly. When you come to the United States, especially as a black person, I come to the United States and I witness racism, and then I see black people look down on each other, and it's like in Africa, the same thing happens where we're all the same skin color. So, racism is not the thing, but tribalism is very bad. Just because somebody
Mm,
speaks a different language, just because somebody
like I got the more
eats it.
superior clan.
Yeah, it's all the way down to the food. If you eat a certain food, then you're looked down upon because this tribe likes that food and we don't like that tribe. So how dare you eat that food? And it's like, bro, I'm hungry. I don't have time for any of this. But yeah, it was very interesting. So I was there for 5 years, from 2010 and 2000 to 2015. I came back to America. Technically, I should have finished high school in Ghana the 5 years I was there, but my parents wanted me to have a high school diploma from America. They thought it would make things easier for me in terms of college and stuff. So I came back and did 12th grade again here. So I did 1 year of high school in Harlem. I went to Frederick Douglass Academy, one. I think that's the original one, if I'm not sure, because there's several FDAs, but I went to the FDA in Harlem. And subhanAllah, I've heard so many people discuss or talk about their experience in 4 years of high school. And I feel like I experienced 4 years of high school in just that 1 year.
Mm,
So my first few months, I felt like a freshman. I was new. I still had my heavy African accent. I still have it a bit, but back then it was much more heavy. I was not aware of how things went socially. When I was in Ghana, I tried so hard to hold on to American identity, but I was holding on to 2010 Bronx, New York, America. So
what year
coming
did you
back,
come back?
I came back in 2015.
5 years.
So yeah, so I was making jokes from 5 years ago. It was terrible. Like I wanted to fit it so bad, but I was just completely corny, completely out of touch. And yeah, I felt like I experienced what a freshman would go through. Then I eventually started to make friends, but now we're all being people who we really are not. And then towards the end of my senior year is, I guess, what most seniors go through, where you just kind of you figure out your own identity, your friend group becomes smaller,
Sure,
and
sure.
you just focus on just like college and making sure you graduate. So I went through all the motions in just 1 year, and alhamdulillah, since then I've been working on a professional side. I've been working in education. I've worked as a peer mentor in college. I've been an after school program director. I've been a dean of behavior in a high school. I've taught math in middle school. So the past 10 years professionally, I've been working mostly in education. And in the masjid side of things, I've been teaching in a masjid and just kind of been serving as a youth ambassador, just talking about the youth and the needs of the youth. And here we are today, alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. And then currently, what do you do? What do you envision, like, I guess, the future for you?
Currently, I am a chaplain at a prison upstate. So, alhamdulillah, I'm blessed to have a job where the dean is actually a part of my professional job. It's not separated. Um, So I'm a chaplain and I run into it because, I get to teach the dean and I get paid for it, but more because it falls in line with my aspirations to become some kind of a therapist slash counselor. I love talking to the youth. I love talking to people in general and learning about them and helping them figure out their issues, especially mental health related issues. And I see myself having a private practice in the future. And I thought the chaplain job was a great stepping stone in that
Nice, nice.
direction.
Nice, nice. That's beautiful, bro. MashaAllah.
Alhamdulillah.
Yeah, dude, there's like so many things you said in that story that we can probably dig into. Like just your
Absolutely.
experience living in Ghana. You know what that's like. I think that
Oh
could be an
yeah,
episode on its own.
absolutely. I think so
I
too.
yeah, and we go to the same masjid. I heard you give like, some khatiras of stories, that took place over there. Uh,
Absolutely.
so yeah, and then the second one is, I mean, dude, being a chaplain in a prison. that sounds very mysterious, you know. I think
It
people would
does.
probably would love to hear like, you know, what that's like. So yeah, maybe that can
Yeah.
be an episode on its own as well.
And I'm
Yeah.
the youngest Muslim chaplain in the New York State prisons in all of New York.
Oh, y yeah, yeah. I can because yeah, chaplains are usually a little bit more older, right?
Yeah, we had a chaplain
So
meetup where we all the chaplains met up, and I was like a kid amongst
how
just
many chaplains
older.
were there altogether?
It was for just a certain portion of Upper New York, so I think it was like about 12 chaplains.
Sure,
But
sure.
in total, I think it will probably be around 25 to between 25 to 30 chaplains. And that's just for the state prisons. So federal prisons would have their own, local county jails would probably have their own, some of them probably. But yeah, this is just for the state prisons.
Sure, sure, sure. I gotcha. Okay, I'll give quickly my story,
Yes.
so listeners and viewers they can understand who I am. So, born in Bangladesh, I grew up my
Okay.
first 10 years there. I actually grew up like in a village. I did not
Oh,
grow up in a city. So I'm talking about I had a pond in my backyard that I used to
nice.
like I could literally drop I could literally fish out of my entire my backyard pond. Uh,
MashaAllah.
so
That's
uh,
pretty
uh,
cool.
yeah, that's the type of environment that I grew up in. I remember like whenever my cousins would like, you know, come over,
Yeah.
like I was known as the village kid, you know, like these are my cousins that came from the city. Or
Mm,
whenever I would go from the city to from the village to the city, like
yeah.
I would just have those village behaviors, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I know
Like I
exactly what
wasn't
you mean.
I wasn't polished, if you will. And I think that still shows like, you know, to this day. I'm a
Oh
little bit
yeah.
out of the box. So yeah.
I think it ends up being an advantage though,
Honestly, it
because
does. Yeah.
yeah, because a lot of city behavior are people who a lot of people who are in one place trying to be on top, and in doing so, a lot of the personalities are very similar. A lot of the behaviors are very similar. So if you don't come from the city, immediately you are a fresh breath of air, and that type of personality is always not only appreciated but valuable. So,
Yeah, like I think my cousins like, you know, they grew up like very boxed and safe. Like, you know, they went to private school, they were living in some high-rise apartment.
right.
Everything was like they went to like they took the car in order to, you know, go somewhere. Versus like for me, I was a wild kid. Like I used to, in the village, pretty much like maybe even 4 or 5 miles, like, you know, from my actual house, like just walk, you know, to there with my friends, you know,
Oh
as
wow.
like a like a 7-year-old kid. So yeah, I think that probably benefits me to this day, where I think I'm a lot more like I like to take risks. I'm a lot more adventurous, you know, than a lot of my
Nice.
cousins. So, but yeah, I grew up in the village. But then my family moved to the U.S. Back in 2006. I was 10 years old, and you know,
You were 10
middle.
years old when you came to the States, you
Yeah,
said. Okay.
when I first came, I was 10 years old. So middle school, high school, college, all in New York City. And actually, my first year, I was in Connecticut in an all white school. Like I was the
Oh
only brown
wow.
kid there, you know?
How was
Um,
that like?
it wasn't pleasant, I will say. So
Mm,
me coming to the US, I mean, it was cool. Like, you know, I remember first landing in JFK, you know, my uncle picking us up, you know, us driving to his house. Like we had basically 5 families living in my uncle's house. Like my
right.
uncle was there, but then it was also my family and three of my other uncles and aunts. So we all came together and we needed a place to stay. So my uncle is the one that had a big house and we basically took over his house. It was like 5 families living there. But anyways, but me going to school, like I didn't speak a word of English, bro. I just said like, you know,
Oh
hi, how are
wow.
you?
Oh geez.
I,
And what year
I
is this?
this is 2006.
2006. Yeah,
Yeah.
2006 racism was something else.
Yeah, at that time, yeah, because I mean, I don't think I really felt it. It wasn't really like racism. It was just like bullying. You know,
Oh,
basically, hey, this is like
Like just taking
weird.
advantage.
Yeah, like, it's like, this brown kid, like, came out of nowhere. He doesn't speak English. So, kids just like, pick on you. So,
Mm,
um, so yeah, I had kind of like, trouble fitting in.
I
And
see.
pretty much like there was nobody who spoke like Bengali, in that
Right,
school. But
right,
I think honestly, that's something that really helped me. Like there's a lot of Bengali kids who are just like, just immigrant kids like who come to the US and they just fit into like their group of people who also came from there. So they never like
right,
learned how
right,
to speak
right.
English.
Yeah,
So
yeah. They don't
but
end
to
up
this
improving. Yeah.
a lot of them to this day, like their English is just so broken. Versus because I was forced to speak with, this white kids in English,
Right.
it forced me to learn English.
You had to
So
adapt.
yeah, yeah, 100%. And also like, just academically, like I wasn't doing the best because again, it's just like I'm learning a whole new language. I was
Right.
taking ESL classes, things like that. So eventually, my family moved to New York City,
Okay.
and New York City again, almost like the same, like kind of faced a lot of bullying and things like that. But there was like one or two friends that I met. Like to this day, one friend comes to my mind. Like he was Bengali as well. You
Oh,
know,
mashallah.
so I became like, friends with him like in seventh grade. Eventually, like, eighth grade, ninth grade, and even actually in eighth grade, I remember I was still getting bullied, and I was getting bullied by my own people, bro.
By your own
Like,
people.
yeah, dude.
How did this
Uh,
happen?
no, I mean, bro, kids are just sometimes they're just douche. You know what I mean?
That's true.
Um,
I
I,
guess,
I was again, it was a huge. I mean, dude, literally, I'm coming from a village in Bangladesh, not
right,
like a city, and I'm all of a sudden in America in a white school, and then I'm like in a again like I went to like school in New York City, and
right.
yeah, there were like Bengalis and things like that, but those are like kids who grew up around here. They didn't speak like Bangla
Yeah.
necessarily.
So you're
The
still some kind
language
of
thing,
other.
yeah, 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 and it's just that in terms of you know my what kids worry about is like what kind of sneakers you have.
Right,
Do you have a
right, right.
North Face book bag? Are you
Oh,
wearing
yeah, the
Hollister?
North Face.
Versus like my parents are like barely making it, so for them I mean, they could just give me like whatever they could afford. But kids make you
Yeah,
fun of you, like because of that.
yeah, yeah,
So I actually
yeah.
have like some fat book bag, like some sneakers that are like it's not no Nikes or Adidas,
No, it's
So
just some cheap off-brand stuff.
exactly.
No, they
So
didn't. Yeah, they didn't. They would not rock with that at all.
yeah. So so yeah, man. Eighth grade. I remember seventh grade, eighth grade, even ninth grade. Pretty much like sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth grade. It was a very, very hard transition.
Mhm.
But alhamdulillah, eventually started making some friends in ninth grade. I think in
Yeah.
10th grade, 11th grade, at those times, like I started getting more used to myself. But I think I pretty much, honestly, I went like off the rails, to be honest with you, like
Okay.
10th grade, 11th grade, because I was just trying to fit in, somehow. So I got involved with kind of the wrong crowd, doing the wrong stuff. I was just trying to impress people. It's like, oh,
I
listen, I'm
see.
cool. So, and, but alhamdulillah, I think really like at the end of senior year
Yeah.
of high school, at that time, I think at those times, like you start like asking yourself the questions of like, hey, what's the purpose of life? Does God exist?
Yeah,
What
yeah,
am I
yeah,
gonna do with
yeah.
my life? Like you ask those questions,
Oh yeah,
and
you get super philosophical towards the end of
yeah,
senior year.
yeah, yeah. So at that time, I started asking those questions. Found out like it was just like literally YouTube videos. I used to watch like debates about like atheism and Islam
Mm,
and Christianity and Islam and like I always prayed and like because my parents asked me to pray. I was like, okay, I believe in God, but I was doing
yeah,
it wasn't on the top of my mind. What was top of
right.
mind is like my friends. What was top of mind is like, yo, how do I look cooler? Girls, like those are the things that's on top of my mind. So,
It
but
wasn't a priority.
yeah, it was no priority.
Okay.
But at the end of like around this, like I said, end of senior year, I started
Yeah.
asking those questions because inside, like when you live for those shallow things, like you're not actually happy. Like
Yeah,
you're
you're not.
you're very void. Um, and just me just literally like watching YouTube videos and things like that. like that's how Allah guided me. It's probably a lot of my
Allahu
mom's
Akbar.
du'as, you know. And
MashaAllah.
one day I remember, I still remember the date. This was like I think December 2nd, 2012.
Okay.
I just made a decision that, listen, I'm gonna change my life around. Like my purpose
Nice.
in life is I'm gonna live for Allah. And literally
MashaAllah.
I was it was at 180. Like I left all of my old friends.
This was
I
in senior
stopped.
year of high school?
Yeah, this was senior year of high school.
Okay.
So left all my old friends. Uh, you know, I started going to the masjid.
Mm.
There was a youth program like happening in the masjid. I used to go attend. Eventually, I started volunteering in the masjid, and I just started. That just became my new friend circle. There are a lot of older brothers that became like good friends of mine and good mentors. I'm friends to them,
Yeah.
they're like my closest friends, like to this day. A lot of the kids that used to come to the youth program, like younger than me, those became like really, really close friends. Like they came visited me even here in upstate New York.
Oh,
So,
nice.
so yeah, that's kind of the story. I mean, to wrap it up quickly, it's alhamdulillah, eventually got married. As far as career, like I was working in a mental. I wanted to do like speaking of. I mean, you mentioned you wanted to be a counselor. I wanted to be a counselor
Yeah.
too, bro.
Oh, nice.
So,
Mashallah.
like my degrees in psychology. I worked in
Same,
the
same.
I worked in the mental health field for like 2 years. Um, at the same time, I started an e-commerce business. Alhamdulillah, business did okay. It's
Mashallah.
profitable. I still have the business now, and
Alhamdulillah.
yeah,
We might
you
have
know,
to turn this into a business podcast then. Get some
sure, we
e-commerce
can we
tips.
can we can maybe do an episode. I can maybe invite my business partner into it as well.
Yeah, that would be great.
So
I could use some tips. I'm actually looking at different opportunities for extra, what is it called? To have like a ex
side gigs, side
yeah, just to have
hustles.
like a side amount of income, especially with like the way this things are going nowadays. It's very important to have, something aside, especially once you have kids and your family is like actually growing, then you want to make sure that you're prepared for all situations. So, yeah, I think
Maybe,
having an episode where we not only emphasize the importance of as a Muslim just knowing some kind of business and how to be creative and profit, but what exactly goes into that, especially with the times that we live in today. It's not as simple as go to the woods, cut some wood, take it to the market, sell the wood. You know, it could be
yeah, yeah.
actually, it could be, but even if you wanted to go with that example, I'm thinking you'd have to take the market into consideration. Where are you selling the wood? Is it saturated and things of that nature? So I think a business episode would be great, inshallah.
Sure, we can do. So we got life in Ghana, being
Yeah.
a chaplain in prison, and
Yep.
business side hustles. Okay,
Yeah.
so
And
those three.
even your story of growing up here, there was a lot of different parts that I wanted to ask more about, but I didn't want to interrupt you.
Yeah, we could
So
do like just okay, surviving high school, let's say.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
There
What
you
is
go.
that like? Because I,
We
I
got
was
four
wondering,
episodes.
I was wondering what was the reaction of your old friend group to you changing, and especially as a young person deciding to focus on Allah, right? I don't know if it's the same nowadays, but before, as a young person, talking about God was kind of weird.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, we can get into it. I mean, even like, I mean, yeah. I mean, I'll give you the quick, like a quick snippet. Number
Yeah.
one, I became a preacher to them. I was like,
Oh,
bro,
nice.
you got to stop everything. Okay, you got to come to the masjid. you know.
MashaAllah. That's very
But
good.
I was kind of forcing Islam down their throat, if you will.
Yeah.
uh, that didn't work well. You know.
I see.
So because I went through this like massive transformation, but they didn't go
Mm.
through with it. You
Yeah,
know.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So so for them, like it was just like it just came as a huge shock. You know.
Mm.
So yeah, that's the too long didn't read version of it, if you will.
Okay.
And that's kind of part of the reason, like, why I had to leave that friend group and find new friends
I
because I was
see.
like, okay, I don't have friends anymore. I need new friends. So,
I
um,
see.
yeah. But anyways, to finish up the story, uh, I'm
No.
married, I have two kids. I
Mashallah.
worked in a Muslim nonprofit called Oak Tree for the last 5 years. Because I
Mashallah.
was doing like all my youth work, I wanted to, when I was getting married, I asked myself, okay, what do I do for my
Yeah.
career? Like I was gonna
Right.
go down the mental health route. I was gonna focus on building my business. But the thing that I was really, really passionate about was just continuing my like, work that I was doing in the masjid,
Mm.
community work. And the opportunity presented itself that, this organization that I was kind of volunteering at Oak Tree, they offered me a full-time position. And
Oh,
I was like, okay,
mashallah.
I can think about doing dawah work way later down the line, or
Yeah.
I can actually do it right now. So I took the opportunity, and Oak Tree was an amazing, amazing experience. I'm actually, as we're having this conversation, I'm transitioning out of my role at Oak Tree,
Oh,
and maybe
mashallah.
we can talk about that. But at that moment, I was like, dude, I'm literally living my dream, because
Mashallah.
my dream was that, okay, how do I do dawah work on a full-time basis, serving the Muslim community and so on.
Right.
And Oak Tree was a vehicle to do that. Like we do training and consulting for nonprofits. And
Mashallah.
that was the thing that was all because already I was learning so much about business that, okay, hey, this is how you set up an organization for it to be successful, about sales, marketing, operations, you know, internal org development, customer service. I was like, yo, these are all the
Mm.
things that are missing from Muslim organizations, you know,
Absolutely. Yeah.
and Oak Tree was a opportunity for me to basically, spread that, across our organizations. So,
Mashallah. I know I told you before last
yeah,
time, but it's such a small world that when I first started college, uh, went to Bronx Community College, and I was the president of the MSA. Oak Tree reached out to us, and they came and they did a leadership workshop with us.
yeah.
And
Oh yeah, I forgot
subhanAllah,
about that, man.
yeah, and then now years later down the line, me and a former Oak Tree employee are starting a podcast together, mashallah.
Yeah.
And I remember that I forgot his name, but I think he's in charge of Oak Tree now. What's
Talk
if you
about Muhammad Al Matil or Rami
yes,
Kawas.
no, yes, Al-Mathir, Muhammad
Yeah,
Al-Mathir.
yeah,
I remember I used to see his emails, and it was just so fascinating, especially at the time. I had not been exposed to anything like that. To see
yeah.
a Muslim wearing a suit and to be in a professional setting talking about Islam while, you know, talking about the deen, referring to the Quran, referring to Hadith, while talking about at the same time, professional topics and self-development and business and things of that nature. Before that was kind of separated, and I think that definitely deserves its own episode when we're able to, if we can
Get him on the
analyze.
podcast, bro.
Oh yeah, that would be great.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
would
yeah.
be
We can
great
have him
because
as a
I
guest.
would love to hear
By
his
the way,
story as well.
Matil, I think what I think about, like, hey, who are the top three most impressive people that I have met? To
MashaAllah.
be honest, after my wife, he might be number two.
Oh wow, that's a huge.
Like
Although
he
I
is,
imagine the gap is large, but still, mashallah.
yeah. Mashallah, Matil, just the way he carries himself, he's a role model and a mentor. I always admired like the way that he literally just carries himself, and so on. So, um,
MashaAllah.
but where was the story? Okay, where was what? I'm not sure if anything was left to the story, but yeah, for me, the future is basically, I'm in B2B sales. I'm
Okay.
transitioning into technology sales, and man, subhanallah, funny thing,
Yeah.
one of the companies that I interviewed with, one of the co-founders of the company,
Yeah.
um, they have some sort of connection with Oak Tree. Like Oak Tree used to do like you said, we went and did something like for Bronx Community College. We had done something
Yeah.
for City Tech at CUNY City Tech, and there was a student who attended like Oak Tree workshop or lecture, and he went
Mm.
on to like form his own startup. That startup is valued at more than $1 billion right now. You know,
Mm.
um,
Allahu
a-
Akbar.
and again, for people, please understand, $1 billion, that's $1,000 million. Like, you know, uh, and
Wow.
when I was interviewing, like, I reached out to him that it's like, hey, uh, actually, you might remember the name Oak Tree, and so on. So
Yeah.
there's a chance I might even go work, for that company. Let's see.
MashaAllah. Mashallah.
Uh, yeah, but
May Allah make it possible for you if that's what's best for you, inshallah.
yeah. So, but yeah, that's the story essentially. I think we can probably like start wrapping it up. Uh, I think we've been
Yeah,
going on for
I had a few questions that I wanted each of us to answer, and I was thinking we could make this a tradition. It doesn't have to be every episode, but those very simple personality type questions, and to make
shoot.
yeah,
Let's
so the
do it.
audience can get a better understanding of the type of people we are. Because I think
Yeah.
combining that with our background stories will give them a good picture of who we are. Um, Question number one, tea or coffee? Are you a tea person or a coffee person?
Water.
Mm,
I don't drink tea. I don't drink coffee. Just water, bro.
just water,
Or
mashallah.
Diet Pepsi.
Water or Diet Pepsi? That's such a when went from water, skip tea and coffee, and straight to Diet Pepsi, mashallah.
When I'm being my best productive self, it's water.
It's
When I'm
water.
like, yeah, I'm burnt out, I need something, it's Diet Pepsi.
When you want to get in touch with your
Or
bad
root beer.
side, root beer. Oh, I have not heard that name in a while.
Yeah. All right, go ahead.
Mashallah.
What is it for you? Water, tea or coffee?
I started off as a coffee person when I was in high school, and it was mostly because everybody else was drinking it. But recently, for the past few years, as I get older, I realize I'm more of a tea person. Just something nice, hot, and simple. Coffee, and funny enough, I used to drink a lot of coffee with the intention of like to keep me up, when I got classes in the morning. But I think it made me even more sleepy. My body did not know how to handle the caffeine from coffee. So I would say I'm a tea person. Any tea that has some kind of spice to it or some kind of kick to it. So like a tea with like lemon in it, tea with
Mm.
ginger. Recently I fell in love with black tea with what's the name of this spice? I can't believe I'm forgetting it. But there's a company called Ahmed Tea. I think they're based in the UK, if I'm not wrong. And they make these very fine quality teas. And I've been just buying boxes of cardamom tea with black tea with
Ah,
cardamom. Yeah, it tastes great. It tastes great. Just tea and honey, tea, honey milk, however way you want to take it. It's very good. But yeah, that's the type of
one
person
of
I
the
am.
things that I have, just give me an idea. One of
Yeah.
my goals this year is to lose weight. I got my dad bod going on.
Same,
So
same.
and one of the things that I kind of struggle with
Yeah.
is like at nighttime. I think that's when most people have cravings, like
Mm,
instead of like just going to sleep, you end up eating. So I've been like really
yeah.
looking at like, hey, what are like alternative things that I can eat, but it doesn't have a lot of calories. So one thing is like frozen fruits. I mean, you can add all the frozen or non-frozen, but frozen fruits work
Right.
really great. The other thing that you
Okay.
just gave me an idea is like some kind of tea. Like I need some kind of drink that's like you can just sip on it. um
That's my routine. My wife knows the moment, Maghrib Isha comes in, there better be, some hot water being prepared because I'm gonna start asking for it. I'm gonna be looking for to make some tea. So that's my night. On days where like I'm really, really craving and I'm just fighting to not eat anything, I'll probably drink tea with like maybe like a granola bar or maybe some dates. But yeah, tea at night has also been, and I think it's also of great like it calms, it's very calming. So, as you're ending the day, getting ready to go to bed, if you do go to bed, I think tea is it's a just sipping on something hot and simple to put you to bed. I think it's nowadays, I think if you drink chamomile tea, if I'm not wrong, it can actually help you fall asleep easier too. So
yeah. I mean, for me, I do cold water a lot. Like, a lot of times you're not hungry, you're just like thirsty.
yeah,
It's
you
like, yo,
just want
just
to put something in your stomach, really. It's
yeah,
not,
yeah. So, but yeah, I might need to add tea to the list. I'll experiment. I'll let you know how it goes. Okay,
inshallah.
you got a next question? So, similar.
Um, I guess one that's
Or that was
similar
it?
that I have here. I have one more and then we can end it on this one. What's a
Sure.
halal snack you can't live without?
Halal snack that I can't live without.
Yes.
Why don't you go first while
Um,
I think about it?
I used to be obsessed with boba tea. Once I found it, the black pearls, the black tapioca. I wanted to
Mm,
put it in everything I drank. At some point, I probably would have started putting it in water if I
yeah,
could, because it just tasted great to me, and I just never experienced anything like it. But nowadays, I would say a halal snack that I can't live without. Um, I'm a bakery person, so like muffins, bread, croissants. I love croissants.
yeah.
Um,
That's why we got the dad bod, bro.
you see what I mean? It's like cookies. You know me. Subway's chocolate chip cookies is one of the greatest snacks of all time. I think that's probably it. I've done a great job for the past few months cutting it out and not, you
Sure,
know,
sure.
eating as much. And subhanAllah, you don't realize how much money you save once you cut off certain snacks too. It's amazing how much we spend. But inshallah, we could do a what is it called? An economics money saving podcast episode on another
Yeah, yeah,
day.
yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah,
Y-
I would say cookies to long answer short. I would say chocolate chip cookies is I'm learning to live without it, but it is a halal snack I can't live without.
Sure, sure. I mean, I think it would be inauthentic for me to put an answer here because I don't think I necessarily have something that's like, yo, I can't live without it. Like, okay, cookies. I haven't had cookies in a while.
Okay.
Um, Bakery. I mean, again, like I had a croissant today. Had a Panera chocolate croissant. But
Oh,
is it like
mashallah.
something I can't live without? No, not really. So, alhamdulillah, I think when it comes to food, um, uh,
Do
yeah, I
you
don't
have
really
a
have like a specific thing that I can't live without.
okay, well, okay, then put it this way. Do you have like a go-to? Like a anytime you're hungry, this is like usually my easiest and most available option. Like this, if I don't know what to get, then I'm probably gonna rely on this.
I think for me, it's okay, I got you. So like, I mean, maybe I can give you like a guilty food. Like, okay, what are the foods that I eat that's like my
Hmm.
pleasure food, if you will.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
probably
yeah.
just fast food, bro. Like, mozzarella
Fast food.
sticks, fries,
Mm.
pizza. You know, you got a $10 pizza from Papa John's, bro.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely.
I could finish that whole pie by myself, bro. I think that's more my, you know, I guess the way that I describe my personal, I have a very extreme personality. So
Mashallah.
when it comes to food, when it comes to business, and I think that's maybe one of the things that I'm trying to get better at, have more balanced approach, rather than like a
Mm.
all or nothing approach. So, but it can be helpful, but it can also be detrimental.
Right, right,
Yeah.
right.
But yeah, alhamdulillah.
Mashallah.
All right, bro. Okay. I think we
Mashallah.
can end it off here.
No,
I think the listeners, people that are watching, they got a good understanding of who we are, hopefully. And then starting next week, we can dive into more topics. Looking forward to continuing this, inshallah.
inshallah. This was great. Look forward to doing it again.
All right, awesome, bro. We'll end it off here, and we'll see you in the next episode.
All right, inshallah.
All
Assalamu
right.
alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. Okay, bro. Let me end the recording. I'll keep it going. Okay, for now.
Okay.
You can probably just edit it out either way. You gotta cut up like probably the beginning and the end either way.
Yeah, I'll
Um,
just cut it out.
yeah. But yeah, bro. I think this was good, man. I think like very authentic, non-scripted. I think yeah, alhamdulillah.
Yeah, I think it definitely, I'm such an overthinker. So I was definitely like kept on asking myself and was worried about um having something of substance to talk about. But honestly, this was great. It didn't feel like work. I didn't feel like I was had to exert myself or do too much.
Yeah. I think again, just a reminder for us, like the common denominator that needs to be there is the consistency.
Yeah.
Let's make sure like bi-weekly we're making the episode and
Mm.
we're uploading the episode. All the bells and whistles, like they can be added. Like I think, bro, we came up with basically four different topics.
Yeah.
We can literally dive into. Um, and then let me write those down actually. Okay, let me put it in the. So we have the. Hold on. I think I pinned it on our chat, like just like our personal chat. So it has the
Okay.
Al Hassan Central Doc. So
Oh
let
yeah.
me put so okay, the four episodes, I think, like high school,
Mm.
Ghana. What else did we talk about?
We said we was gonna talk about,
Business side hustle.
yes.
Okay. And then what else?
I think something to do with like money saving tips.
Okay, we could talk about that. Muslim money, let's say. Actually,
Yeah.
I have a specific person in mind as well,
Perfect.
that I could invite as a guest in the future for this.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm definitely
yeah.
gonna take
Oh yeah,
advantage of any
Matil.
guests coming
Yeah.
to benefit myself too, honestly. So
Yeah,
if
yeah,
I
yeah. Inshallah.
if I feel like I need something, then I'll probably try to use that for the podcast for that as well.
Yeah, inshallah. Yeah, we're talking about having guests, like hold on. GU guests. Matil is one. Yeah, I have a lot of guests in mind. Okay, but high school, like Ghana, business set. So I guess with high school, like we can talk about probably like our experience, you know.
Yeah,
Um, what else? Uh, got same thing. I mean, pretty much with all of them, like just like we just talk about the topic, I guess.
yeah,
Okay, inshallah. All right. Okay, bro. Okay, I think we're good. Inshallah. We'll continue from next week, or not next week, like in 2 weeks.
inshallah.
Okay.
As soon as you send me the recording, now that I know
Yeah.
what to do, it will definitely be much more quicker and easier for me to get it out, inshallah.
Sure. Sounds good, bro. Inshallah. Yeah. In
Inshallah.
terms of like video editing software,
Yeah.
look into Camtasia.
Temptasia.
Camtasia. Yeah. It's a very easy to pick up software. We need to pay for it, but it's like a one-time purchase, Or the other
Cam
option would be
Camtasia?
like just like yeah, Camtasia.
Okay, Camtasia.
Camptasia. Camtasia.
Camtasia. Okay, I found it.
Yeah. The other option is like iMovie, honestly. Or like, whatever the equivalent is. Actually, you don't have a
Yeah.
Mac, right?
No, I'm using a PC.
Okay, so you're not gonna have
Windows.
yeah. But yeah, Camtasia could be a viable option. Or like, maybe look into like the Adobe Premiere if there is like how much is it monthly? Probably $20 or something, I'm assuming. Like
Yeah,
around
no,
there.
honestly, I don't think we'd have to spend money. Even the CapCut that I'm using has been decent so far. Like it generated captions for the full hour.
Okay. I
Yeah.
wouldn't put caption for the full episode. Um,
Okay.
I think it becomes like too cluttery, if you will.
I see.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. I see what you mean. Yeah, honestly, yeah, that would make things
inshallah.
easier for me as well. So yeah, yeah, I think there's a few options I see here that I can go with without having
Yeah,
to
I
take
know
care of
Camtasia is
anything.
like a very like a like the major functionalities is very easy to pick up,
Okay.
if you will, in there. But yeah, let's keep it going, bro. I mean, bro, just the update on my end is alhamdulillah, like, I have three job offers that I pretty much set on which one I'm gonna
MashaAllah.
accept. So
MashaAllah.
I'm not going to. One of the job offers was like actually going to San Francisco. I'm
Oh
not doing that.
wow. Yeah,
So
that's a bit of a move.
Yeah. So yeah, I'll give you more updates later on. But yeah, alhamdulillah. Yeah.
Inshallah. Yeah, man, I'm keeping in my dua. May Allah help you pick the best choice.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you, bro. Appreciate it, inshallah.
Mashallah.
Alhamdulillah,
The one that you
the
said you're leaning towards, would you have to move for it?
I wouldn't. No, it's remote, but
Oh, nice.
my wife has been telling us about moving. I'm trying to keep us stay here. So let me see.
I see.
You know,
Inshallah.
inshallah. So yeah.
Inshallah. Okay.
All right, bro. Okay.
Alhamdulillah. All right. It was nice talking to you, man.
Yeah, bro. Okay. Inshallah.
Inshallah. See you soon.
You coming to masjid today or no?
I will. I will, inshallah.
Maghrib and Isha?
Probably not Maghrib, but probably Isha.
Okay. I should be there. So hopefully I'll see you over there. Okay.
Okay, inshallah.
Okay, bro. Take care.
All right. Walaikum salam.